In Oquenya, the villagers believed the sacred drum only spoke when the ancestors permitted. But one boy had already heard its whisper. And now, it would not leave him alone. This is the story of Kweku, the boy who dared to listen. Kweku could not sleep after that night. The whisper of the drum circled through his head like a restless bird. And when he finally drifted into slumber, it was not into peace, but into memory. He dreamed of his mother. Her face gentle, her voice warm. She sat with him under the great baobab tree, years ago, when he was no more than 7. In her hand was a carved piece of wood, shaped like a drumstick. And she told him of the tree of truth. From its heartwood, she said, the ancestors shaped the drum. A tree that saw everything, from the secrets whispered between lovers, to the plots of kings. Its wood remembers. Its wood never lies. That is why the drum speaks truth, whether we want to hear it or not. Even as a child, Kweku had shivered. But now, years later, those words returned with new weight. He woke to find his heart pounding and his palms slick with sweat. For the first time, he began to believe that the drum was not only alive, but watching him. The next morning, the village moved with its usual rhythm, traders shouting, goats bleating, children laughing in the dust. But Kweku could not shake the memory of the whispers. He knew he could not keep silent. He went to the council hut, where the elders gathered in the cool shade. He told them, in a trembling voice, what he had heard. That the drum had spoken. That he thought it was trying to say something more. The elders' faces darkened. Some exchanged nervous glances, others frowned with disapproval. Elder Kojo, whose voice usually carried patience, thundered with sudden anger, "You meddle in sacred matters, boy. Leave the drum to those chosen by the ancestors. Your ears are too young to hear, your spirit too fragile to carry its burden." Another elder waved him away as though swatting a fly. Drums do not speak to children. What you heard was wind, nothing more. Their voices cut deep into Kweku's chest. But even as he left their presence, he noticed something they had failed to hide. Fear. Behind their scolding eyes, the elders were afraid. Afraid of him. Afraid of what he had heard. Alma found him sitting alone beneath the shade of the baobab tree, his broom lying forgotten at his side. She had always been the one who could read him even when he spoke no words. When he told her what had happened, how the elders had dismissed him, how the drum's voice would not leave his ears, she stared at him with wide eyes. Alma was not like the others. Alma was not like the others. She believed him. But belief did not bring comfort. It brought fear. "Kweku," she whispered, "do you not see? You are calling danger to yourself. If the drum truly speaks to you, then it is no blessing. It is a burden. You must stop chasing it, before it swallows you." Her words shook him. Not because he doubted her, but because part of him knew she was right. And yet when night came, and the moon rose, his feet moved on their own. Toward the courtyard. Toward the drum. Midnight wrapped the village in silence. Huts slumbered, fires died down to faint embers. But Kweku was awake. Clutching a piece of charcoal and a torn scrap of cloth, he crept barefoot to the sacred courtyard. The drum loomed tall in the moonlight, its carvings sharp against the silver glow. He sat in the shadows, waiting. At first, there was nothing. Only the whisper of wind and the hum of insects. Then, the sound began. Boom. A single beat. Boom. Another. Not random. Patterned. Measured. Like a hand tapping out a code only the patient could understand. Kweku leaned forward, his ears straining, his heart hammering in rhythm. And with careful strokes of his charcoal, he drew the sequence. Circles. lines, curves. The drum beats formed pictures. Symbols. Sweat rolled down his temples, though the night was cool. Scrap was nearly full. And when the last mark was drawn, he sat back in awe. The drum was not just speaking. It was writing. Kweku spent the following days in secret, hiding the cloth beneath his sleeping mat. Each night, he returned, adding new symbols to the growing collection. And though he could not read them, his soul stirred with recognition. It was as if the language was older than his blood, older than the soil beneath his feet. Sometimes, when he stared too long at the drawings, his vision blurred. The symbols twisted and shifted, like snakes coiling, like rivers bending. And for fleeting moments, he thought he understood. Amma noticed the exhaustion in his eyes, the dirt beneath his nails, the way he seemed always half present. She begged him to stop. "This path leads nowhere good, Kweku," she pleaded. But he only shook his head. How could he stop, when truth itself was unfolding before him? On the 7th night, the courtyard was colder than usual. The moon hid behind clouds. The drum stood silent for longer than he had ever known. Kweku waited, heart pounding, breath shallow. Then, without warning, boom. The sound struck not just his ears, but his bones. Boom. Again, harder. And then, a change. The beats grew faster, sharper. Not just patterns. Not just symbols. But words. And then he heard it. A voice. Clear. Undeniable. Not whispered this time, but spoken. "The river will run dry in 7 days." The air froze. His blood chilled. The drum was not giving riddles. It was giving prophecy. Kweku stumbled back, his breath ragged. The courtyard was empty, yet the words still thundered inside his skull. 7 days. 7 days until the river ran dry. The drum had chosen him. The message was his to bear. But what did it mean? And what would happen if no one listened?